Excited to have my next guest on the show. It's Aleksa Camur, who will finally be back in action August the 5th at UFC Nashville when he takes on Tanner Boser. Aleksa, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Life is good.
Yeah,
Can't
you're
complain.
finally back fighting, man. It's been way too long. What's the excitement level like? I have to imagine you're just ready to get in there right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. It's a little bit of every emotion. I think fighters will understand the most, not just excitement. I'm nervous, obviously, a little bit of every emotion, but overall just happy to be able to get back in there.
You hear a lot of fighters when they're making the walk to the octagon for the first time about octagon jitters, that it's just different because you're fighting in the biggest promotion in the world on the biggest stage. Do you feel like it's almost going to be like your first walk again because it's been so long?
I mean, I don't want to. I don't think so. I'm pretty content with what's going on. I know what I'm getting myself into. Obviously, I'm gonna have some jitters. I'm gonna be nervous, but I'm gonna do my best to control myself in there, and just perform the best I can.
Obviously you had nerve damage in the elbow, so it's kept you out for a while. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of like your recovery and everything you had to go through to get back to where you're at now?
Yeah, look, over time I started noticing like some atrophy in my hand, which is just like deterioration of muscle in a specific region of your body based on like your nerve not being able to send signal to that specific region. After I saw that, I knew I had to get it fixed up, not just for fighting, but life in general. Um, yeah, it was a pretty smooth operation. At first, I definitely was skeptical about the recovery process, but it was nice and easy. It was essentially just time consuming, right? I didn't have much rehab to do because like I said, they didn't operate on like a broken arm or my joint or anything. They quite literally moved my nerve so it could be like clear, so I can get signal to my hand again. So it wasn't a lot of rehab, which was a kind of a plus that I didn't have to like worry that much on it. However, I did do some rehabilitation for my hand and whatnot, just to be safe. But overall, it was just time consuming. I had to give it time, and as a fighter, it just it didn't feel right taking all that time off. But luckily, I was able to kind of ease myself into the training that we're doing now. So I wasn't just sitting around. I was trying to get work in the gym. My arm was in a sling. I was still working my kicks. I was still working my right hand. I was doing the best of my ability to, get work in when I could. But with that being said, it was just time, and unfortunately it would took longer, than expected, but I think it was necessary, to
Mhm.
get back in there and be comfortable with my body and whatnot.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, obviously, you're staying active and doing what you can while you're on the road to being back in the UFC. But when you did have some downtime, did you pick up any new hobbies, or is there anything that you did to kind of pass the time?
I mean, I just had plenty of time. I played some video games and whatnot. Spend time with my now fiance, family and whatnot. We do video work on the side, so I was able to, with me, my brother, and a teammate of mine at the gym, I was able to kind of tap into that a little more, and yeah, and just keep my mind preoccupied for the time being. But like I said, I was in the gym constantly, and I work at the gym anyway, so I'm there every day anyway. So since I'm there already, I get my work in, and I wasn't able to do everything, but I was able to do some things leading up to that full recovery, and it was more than I could ask for, So I was just grateful to be able to get some work in at the
Absolutely.
time.
You said you do some video work. What exactly is that?
So we just do videography, photography stuff for different people. We had some big jobs that came up, and we got to do some traveling to finish those jobs. But yeah, just in general, just video work for people who ever needed it, and photography and stuff like that.
Very cool. And you did say you got engaged. I saw that on your Instagram as well. So congratulations. When exactly is the wedding?
May 18th of next year.
All right. Where are you guys doing it at?
Uh, Local. It's right by my place down here. Saint Sava Church on Wallings. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
Very cool. Well, congrats on that, my man. I wanted to address that. Let's talk a little bit about, when we last saw you in the octagon. You're coming off the two decision losses, tough opponents. Is there anything specifically that you felt like, maybe you could have done better in those fights, or something that you picked on that you learned to maybe, grow from?
Yeah, I mean, my first loss, I definitely think I almost gave William Knight a little too much respect. Not that he didn't deserve it, right? Because he's a tough dude, but just for the fact that I wasn't pulling the trigger enough in the octagon, I just gave him too much time to work with. And then in my next fight, I think I corrected on that properly. Uh, and I thought I performed real well, man. I thought I was super happy with my performance, there's always gonna be places that you can improve. So don't get me wrong, like in no way, shape, or form was it perfect, right? But I think I did a great job, and I did enough, and I think I showcased my stand up and went out very well in that fight. It was just unfortunate the way it turned out. I mean, I'm sure you heard. I think the 13 cage grabs is pretty excessive, and I was upset with the decision to, stop the fight in the last 10 seconds and not take a point off of Nagomarianu. But that's not my job, and that's why we don't leave. You shouldn't leave it in the hands of the judges or the ref for that fact, right? So I was upset with it. I did think that I deserved a little more justice for that, and I don't know, giving somebody one final 13th warning in the last 10 seconds of a fight, I don't think is very is doesn't it really doesn't make any sense because 10 seconds left, they're not
Right.
gonna grab the cage again, right? Yeah, I didn't think it was in my favor at that time. I thought I did enough regardless, but maybe I could have stayed on kept my foot on the pedal a little more and done a little more, but you live and you learn. We're past it. I tried to overturn the decision to maybe a draw or something because I didn't think I deserved the loss on that. But it is what it is, right? I just need to keep pushing forward during the fight, keep the pace on for second and third round, and it is what it is. We learned from it, we trained, and we adjusted, and that's all you can do.
I mean, I definitely thought a point should have been taken. Is that pretty much what you heard from a lot of your peers?
Yeah, from multiple people, and I don't. It wasn't like you didn't really need to be a fighter to even see it. But the announcers, it was visible. You could see everything that happened, and it was multiple people saying it. I don't know who was who was a commentator on the fight itself, but you could hear them talking about it the whole time as well. And at the time being, I thought he was just a strong dude holding me against the cage. I was like, shit, I can't push him off me. Little did I know he had his fingers wrapped up in the cage. And I guess what the ref, can't see is allowed, but yeah, he saw it 13 times, so you know, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, well, like you said, you've moved past that now. But before we transition in, I want to talk a little bit about the 205 division and this upcoming fight with Tanner Boser. Before you stepped in there and fought William Knight, I mean, I've interviewed him a couple times in the past, and to me, just physically, he looks very intimidating. He's got muscles on top of muscles. Have you ever had kind of like that oh shit moment where you're looking at someone and you're like this could be a interesting one?
Yeah, hell yeah, all the time, right? There's big boys in it, and yeah, I've not just in the UFC. I've in my local in the local pro circuits. I've ran into those people, and I've had multiple people coming up to me before the fight saying, "Whoa," like quote unquote. Some guy came up to me when I was fighting somebody, one of my pro fights back in the day. He was like, "You're gonna fight that guy? That guy's huge," Like I wouldn't fight him. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Some of these dudes are bigger, they look bigger, right? And William Knight, he's a little tank, man. He has like that Mike Tyson build to him. He's a big boy. Uh And, nothing against him. He's strong. Everybody's strong in the 205 division, but it wasn't strength that I haven't felt before. I train with guys like that. I train with strong people. So it wasn't any strength that I haven't felt before. But yeah, for sure. I think I went into it a little too timid, right? A little too cautious. And yeah, I let him and it kind of played to his advantage, and
Mhm.
he did his job perfectly, and he got that W, so yeah, no excuses on that. That was all on me, and he did a great job capitalizing on it.
I appreciate you diving into that a little bit. Let's talk about the division right now. The champ Jamal Hill just vacates the belt. You got Blachowicz and Alex Pereira up next. Who do you see winning that fight? How do you think that's going to go down?
I think Jan is technically sound, meaning like by that I mean just hands up all the time. He takes he takes opportunities to land big shots, but he doesn't give you a lot of space to capitalize on his mistakes. On the other hand, you got Pereira, and he's very good. He's great. You saw it with Izzy and whatnot. He has the ability, but he does kind of like he is real lax in there, and he leaves his hands kind of hanging a little low. And honestly, I think that's what Izzy capitalized on that last fight, on that rematch between the two of them. And he kind of got confident with him against the cage, let his hands drop a little bit. Izzy capitalized over the top, and it put him down. I think, while I do think Alex has that, or Pereira has that ability to win, and shock a lot of people and make a statement in the 205 division, I think Jan is kind of the safe pick on that.
Mhm.
Like I don't like predicting fights. I think anything can happen, right? It's a fight, right? So anything can happen if anyone can win on any given day. But if you gave me $500 and you're like, you got to put this on somebody to win, safe bet would probably be on.
I hit on a 7 fight parlay on that Izzy Pereira pay-per-view. I try not to bet too much, but I got to admit it's a vice of mine. If you weren't in the UFC and you could bet on these fights, would you? Would you be in the casinos throwing some cash down?
No, 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 absolutely not. I think it's probably the worst sport to bet on, to be honest with you, because of how unpredictable it is. And a lot of people act like, they can predict fights well. And I have those friends where I'll go out to watch fights with them, and they may and they make it sound like they know what they're talking about. But anything can happen, right? It's there is no guarantee, right? So I do think it's the worst sport to bet on, because of the fact that it's very, like, it's
Mhm.
a toss up at times, right? And there are those matchups where you got one guy way better than the other, and and you could bet on that and be accurate with that. But for the most part, I think that seven, the fact that you hit on seven, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It's never
Uh,
happened before. That was the first time.
You could be the first one in history, dude. But yeah, it's not my thing. But I see the appeal in it, and it does make the fights a little more interesting. It gives you a little bit it gets you invested a little more, right? It's almost like if I have one of my teammates fighting, and I have that feeling in my chest, I really want them to win, right? Because they're my friends. These, random people aren't really friends with the fighters, so they don't really have that attachment. Yeah, they want them to win, but it doesn't really matter to them. But when they put the money on them, it's almost like it's
Yeah.
something is on the line. Their money's on the line, right? So they want them to win a little more. I get the appeal, not my cup of tea though.
Okay. Fair enough. Last time I checked, Alexa, you were a small underdog against Boser. Do you think that's accurate?
I mean, skill wise, I think I'm yeah, I expected to be the underdog, honestly, but me in my own head, I know I'm able to fight with these dudes. I'm able. My skill set is on par with them, right? So I think I knew I was gonna go in as an underdog because of his experience, his records, 20-10. The dude has 30 fights under his belt, right? So he has that experience, right? So I knew I was going to be the underdog. And I think for my past few fights, I've been the favorite. And the odds don't really matter to me all that much, but I kind of like being the underdog, I've been the underdog in the local pro fights that I've seen, when I saw the odds or whatever, people voting on who they think they're gonna win, it was always against me, and I like that. I like when the odds are against me. You know, it gives me a little more inspiration, prove some people wrong. You know,
I think too, probably what plays into the fact of that you're an underdog is the layoff, right? I think that has to account for
sure.
a good portion of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure people are kind of playing into the cage rust, quote unquote, right? That people talk about. And then the just how many fights both of us have. He's a little more experienced. He's seasoned in the sport. He's had plenty of fights in the UFC. Me on the other hand, I'm 6-2. You know, I've had 3 fights, 4 if you're including the Contender Series, and, you know, it makes sense, it makes sense. They base it off of these statistics, and I was expecting to be the underdog, and I'm completely fine with it, you know?
And I think you know what he's going to want to do. I mean, he's a power puncher. He does move forward, but he is coming off of 2 straight losses, so he's probably going to be, very dialed in to get this win and not lose 3 in a row, just like yourself. So when you look at what he brings to the table, what kind of a fight are you expecting here on August the 5th?
I think it's gonna be calculated on both ends. I don't think he's gonna be, he's not gonna be a dumbass about it, right? He's gonna be smart. He's gonna try to stay calculated. I'm gonna try to do the same thing. But in no way, shape, or form do I think it's going to be boring. I think it's going to be a barn burner. You know, I think we're gonna be throwing down, and they're going to be fireworks. People are going to enjoy it, and yeah, man, it's going to be a good fight. I think it was a good matchup, and I think the matchmakers knew exactly what they were doing when they put us together. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good one, and he's no pushover, it's not gonna be an easy fight. I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight for him either, so it's gonna make for an interesting showing for the both of us. And I think the people are just gonna get a kick out of it. I think it's gonna be a good fight.
Potentially fight of the night.
I hope so, man. I'm shooting for some kind of bonus, right? Finish of the night, submission of the night, fight of the night, right? I want something, right? I got my wedding coming up. I got we're coming in on we're honing in on buying a house here soon. So yeah, that 50K would be great. It would be
Yeah,
great. So
no doubt
I'm
about
definitely gonna
that.
be shooting for it for sure.
So without giving away your game plan, though, do you see a path to victory that makes the most sense here against Boser?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we haven't been working something specific, but we just been all around, right? We've been all around. We've watched his fights. I'm sure he's watched my fights. And yeah, and I think we devised a pretty good game plan, and um it's gonna be good, man. I've been working a little bit of everything, and I'm confident in my ability. And the surgery that I had, it went real well, and I feel good. I feel great. My body feels good. I feel healthy, and I'm excited. I'm excited, and I'm ready to get in there and just get it done. Get in there, get it done, and get my hand raised.
Do you think you finish him?
I hope so. Like I said, I don't like predicting fights. Obviously, everybody's gonna have that game plan to finish them. I think I have the ability to finish them, and in that fight, if I find that opening, I definitely think I'm gonna capitalize on it. But like I said, anything happens in a fight, right? And he's a tough dude, so I'm gonna shoot for the finish, but I'm ready for a 3-round war.
Last thing for me, Alexa, what is your current contractual status like? How many fights do you have left on your deal?
This is it right here. This is the last fight here, and yeah, man, I'm at peace with it, right? Like I know I'm fighting for my job here, and yeah, I'm at peace with it. I understand what I'm doing, and I know the consequences of losing. I know the consequences of winning, and my plan is to go in there, be an exciting fighter, and show 'em what I got, and hopefully get that renewed contract.
If you do move on to another promotion, if it's Bellator, PFL one, whatever it may be, there's a lot of great organizations out there where you can make a lot of money fighting. Is that going to satisfy you, or do you feel like you have to be in the UFC fighting for the top promotion?
My mindset is kind of like I just want to I want a good career, man. I want people to watch me. I want people to like me as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And as a person as well, right? But I'm not. I play. I'm not like a 2-year plan kind of guy, 3-year plan. I don't even know what I'm, eating for breakfast tomorrow, that type of thing, right? My fiance plans all our events, right? Like she asked me, what am I doing 2 weeks from now? I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, right? So I'm a play by ear kind of guy. So when it comes to down to promotions, different stuff I'm interested in, I just off the top of my head don't really have an answer for that. But when the time comes, if it comes, I'm open to anything.
Okay, fair enough, man. Well, I'm excited to see you back in there again. UFC Nashville, August 5th. Aleksa Camur, Tanner Boser at 205. Great talking to you for the first time, man. I appreciate the interview. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Just my coaches, training partners, everybody that helped me so far in the camp. We're coming up on the end here, so uh, yeah, man. Thank you to everybody that helped me. Strong style, all my coaches, all my teammates. If I named them off, I probably forget someone and feel like an asshole, so I'm not gonna do that. Gladiator mouth guards for supplying me with an awesome mouth guard for the fight, and yeah, man. Family, friends. Thanks for the support, and that's about it.